Good evening. It's Wednesday. It's 8:30, and it is International Dance Day. So I was dancing up a storm during the theme tune there, and some of my guests have seen me dance and won't be asking me to do that for the next half an hour or so. Before we get going with our guests, I thought I would play a little video to get us into the mood. Have a look at this. Wow, I didn't cut it off that abruptly, but well done.
That was my bad editing.
That was your bad. It was great editing. Please welcome my guests, Steve Cota, Veronique, Mackenzie, Tracy, Fanous, and Stephanie Graham. And at some point, we hope to be joined by Ray Hogg. He is absent without leave right now, so we'll see whether he makes it. Welcome, all of you.
Thank
Happy
you.
International Dance Day!
Yes, happy Dance Day!
Yay.
It's almost like we planned to have you here today. That's the only bit of planning that has gone into this show, let me tell you. It's sad but true. Very quickly, let's fly around the room and just check in where you are and how you're doing. Steve, where are you?
Steve Cota, Stratford, Ontario. So far, so good. This is the first week where I feel like I'm losing my mind, though.
I'm with you. Veronique?
Veronique, Mackenzie, I'm in Halifax. Everything's going great. I was telling my colleagues here I probably have never taken so many online ballet classes as I have these past few weeks.
That's awesome. Oh, my goodness. And Tracy, how are you?
I'm great. Tracy Fanous here. I'm at our house in Halifax/Bedford, and the husband is upstairs with the kids. So hopefully the kids don't crash the video tonight.
I hope they do. I hope they do.
You never know. Leo is a dancer, so maybe he'll.
Oh, there we go. Okay, we can hear what it's really like living with a choreographer. Stephanie, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm in Toronto, and actually, I don't know if you can hear it right now. It's 7:30 in Toronto, and the people are outside with the frontline workers. I don't know if you can hear it through my mic or not, but yeah, it's up and down. It's been a crazy ride, but day by day, right?
Yeah, it really is day by minute, actually. Especially with kids in the house. So it is International Dance Day. Can any one of you tell me a little bit about what that is? Being a non-dancer, I was like, oh, International Dance Day. There's a day for everything.
Well, since 1982, I looked that up today.
Well done.
And there was a ballet dancer. I've lost his name. Perhaps one of you remember. But it was really started based on celebrating his work, etc. And then it became this worldwide event.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. As someone that gets to watch you all work, and I have watched you all work or seen your work, for me, dance is such a vital part of life from the outside looking in. I am assuming it's even more so for those of you that participate. Stephanie, bringing dance into a musical theater environment, is there a different approach from when you're choreographing? Am I being rude if I say like a pure dance piece with dancers and musical theater performers? Is there a separation there? What's that like and about?
I think it depends on the choreographer, or I think it depends on what your concept is. I mean, I think concert dance or something for a company, again, depends on the choreographer, like something like balanchine that's focused on line or how the body moves in space. But I think a lot of even contemporary choreographers that are working in the ballet, Justin Peck, Christopher Wheeldon, are bringing story very much into the ballet world as well. But of course, music theater, we always work from story first and character first.
Right. And Veronique, you've done a lot of, you've done everything from what I know. And I've actually got a picture here, a couple of pieces of yours. There's a piece of yours. Now, what's that from?
This was Leaves of the Virgin Mary with some theater, Forerunner Theatre here in Halifax, Margaret Legier and Stephanie McDonald.
Yeah.
Also, I'm not sure who that is on the floor, but it was, this was my early influence. I was influenced by Palobolis Dance Theatre out of New York way back in the 70s, and out came the fabric for that one.
Yeah. And so what do you think? I mean, because I've seen your work recently more in theater, but I've also seen your one-woman show as well, which is storytelling with dance. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
On your own story.
I bring it all. I mean, I've got a background in theater and dance and visual arts, and I love to bring them all together. But also being here on the East Coast, I feel like we really have to be as versatile as possible. And really find our own niche. And so I've had to learn a lot of things like historical dance and, musical theater I've come to later, although, I studied jazz and modern and ballet when I was growing up. But as far as, I agree with Stephanie. I mean, and everything's mixing up anyway. Everybody's bringing so much to the table now.
Tracy, congratulations on your Merit Award.
Yay!
Oh, thank you so much.
Bravo, bravo. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that and how that production came about for you and what winning that award meant to you?
Oh, yeah. Well, I remember Laura...
Did we lose her? See, I said it's always the way. We lose someone just at that key moment. Oh, you're back. You're back.
Oh, there I am.
So you remember, and that's what we heard.
Oh, okay. Well, I remember Laura Vingo Krim messaging me, and because she was looking for a specific, hip hop choreographer for this show, because it was all hip hop based. So we connected, and she told me, she was like, this is a show that's all inspired about Missy Elliott and the music, and that was totally my jam. Because that's where that's my niche. I'm a hip hop choreographer. I teach dance troops. I bring them into competitions all over there it is. So we just totally had a blast with this show. I got to pull out every single hip hop concept and just kind of have a field day. We called it literally Missy Elliott's it was just a music video on stage, which was really, really cool.
Do you mind if I just throw to a little bit of? I want a couple of seconds of people seeing you in the studio yourself. This is like a little. This is your life kind of thing for all of you.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Hey, power. I be everywhere, everybody know me. Super fresh with a dope style. Honey on my wrist, couple carrots on my neck. Givenchy, keep the chickens in check. All these car keys, drive the chickens to my crib. True Hill, got somebody sleeping on my bed. She give me.
I had to come out of it.
Yeah.
Hold on. I had to come out of it before the swear words came in. Because I don't know
That's the tricky part about hip hop music. You always have to find a clean version, or do it there's no clean version. Then you got to find a verse that does
Absolutely. So, so you got to work with my old company, Eastern Front Theatre. On that show, and a well-deserved win. That was great. I got some messages coming in. Okay. Oh, look at that. A message of love.
Oh my gosh! Hi, Perry.
And what's this? International Canadian Treasures. Alison Palmer.
Yay!
Hi, Allison.
Somebody loves you. Look at that, Kimberly. Hi, Kim. And we do have a question here, actually, from Allison. Most memorable dance class or workshop you've ever taken, or you've taken. Favorite audition combo you've created to watch, and which of those choreography has moved you the most?
Wow.
That's a lot of questions, Allison, but they're good ones. Let's pick one. Why don't we go with? I mean, you've all done so many shows. do not feel the need, Stephanie, to mention the 2 shows that I hired you for. In fact, if you do mention those, it'll be embarrassing. And also, it's okay. But what choreography has actually moved you the most? I guess it doesn't have to be your own. That question isn't saying your own.
Something else, I guess.
Yeah, somebody else's. It's probably safer.
I don't know. I think something that we've created? No, or you've seen? It can be anything.
Yeah, anything.
I think, there's dance effect. It's so visceral to watch dance. And I think there's so many moments through my life that, things that have affected me. But actually, when I was young, I saw Ballet Jazz de Montreal. And I think I'm not even a teenager, at Center in the Square in Kitchener-Waterloo. Mm-hmm. And they did a whole Janis Joplin suite. Right. And they all played Janis. And at the end, I can remember this vividly. They all did this like crazy leap in the air to downstage right, and they all hit the deck, and then they all came back up except for one dancer. And it was obviously like the end of her life. But that moment was so clear in storytelling to me. And I don't even remember how old I was, but it has impacted me so much in my work and my life. And
I know as a director, when I see something that I like as a stage picture or a set or a character or anything, any element, I steal it and I call it homage. And those of you that have worked with me know that to be true. In fact, I've probably stolen some of your work, and I'm not paying for it. But the question, I guess, is, as choreographers, do you do that too? Do you find yourself influenced and like pulling little bits out? How does that work? I mean,
I think it's natural to be inspired by other choreographers. I think we're only as good as the people who have come before us. And what I'm finding now is we are building on what has happened in the past and trying to put our own spin on it to make it more relevant today.
Right.
I know whenever I approach, like even music theater, I always like to approach music theater dance with a modern sort of twist on it, like a little bit of hip hop in my music theater, which I think automatically kind of modernizes it and makes it, relevant for the young kids of today.
Yes, I particularly liked your hip hop version of Brigadoon. That was a little avant-garde for me, but.
Well, you're transported to somewhere else. Why not make it like a medieval hip hop?
It's 100 years. It's every 100 years on 100. I don't know. Anyway, so Tracy, when, for example, with the Eastern Front show, were you involved in the casting of that show? Or did you? Yeah, you were. So you were there. So you got to. So you actually chose to have Andrew Chandler. Do that kind of thing.
Yeah, I like that.
You did brilliantly.
I sat in with like all the auditions, but like I said, like Laura, really a lot of the text and the whole show was a lot of movement based, because if you saw the show, pretty much there was music, there was a soundtrack from start to finish. So even some of the text had to be done with like some style or some swag. So we got together like before and talked about like how some text should have movement, and we actually like got the like people auditioning to kind of like do that as well, so kind of like incorporate some movement. But the cool part was we did a dance audition at the end, so we got everybody to come in like after they did their initial audition, then we had the dance audition at the end of the day. So I taught like a short combo of Missy Elliott, like a Missy Elliott combo, and like taught it to everybody, and we kind of got to see everyone's like take on it, because with hip hop, like it's not done one specific way, because everybody brings their own style. And that's the beautiful thing about hip hop. Like one person can like two people can dance at the exact same steps, but one person might have like a little more flavor, and then this person might have a little more swag. Like it was really cool. And by the way, when I did the dance auditions, I was probably 8 months pregnant with my daughter at that time. So imagine me like bouncing, holding my baby, like.
That baby was predisposed to enjoy a good beat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Veronique, tell me briefly about your experience with this show.
Oh, camp.
Camp.
Oh, it was really one of the highlights, I have to say, for me as a choreographer, because I could use all of those skills we were talking about. I was able to use the ballet, the jazz, the modern, the creative movement. I do a lot of creative movement. And so I could use all of those things on that show, and everyone was so open to just jumping in, and they were very brave, and it was such a joy.
Awesome.
Veronique's work on that was stunning. I was so glad I got to see it. It was just beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. We were really proud of that show. Now, ladies and gentlemen, folks, people, everyone.
Is he here?
Dame Ray Hogg has decided that the time zone shall now be ignored, and
should we bow?
We should all bow down and give him hell for the next year. Here comes Ray Hogg, everyone. Hi, Ray.
Oh, hi, Ray.
So
fashionably late.
Right. Listen, Steve and Steph and I have worked with a choreographer, Michael Lichtenfeld, who is famous for when you're late, he points the finger of shame at you. He makes the whole room point at you. So you may all point fingers of shame at
Oh, wait, we have to
Yeah.
right, left.
That's right.
Whoa.
Somebody, I know that we have a regular viewer, Kimberly, who takes screenshots for me whenever I say it. So can we all point at Ray right now? And we'll get a screenshot.
I'm so sorry.
There we go. Well done, Steve. You got it.
Hi, everyone.
How are you, Ray?
I'm good. Thank you. I'm good.
Hi, Ray.
Hi.
So, for those of you that don't know, Ray choreographed Mamma Mia for me, my first outing on the Neptune main stage when I had this job. And Stephanie has choreographed 2 shows for me now. Veronique went through, has worked for everyone in and Eastern Front, as has Tracy. Veronique also, I guess, we were just talking about camp. Neptune was involved as a co-producer on that show. Steve Cota was scheduled to start work moments after 2 days. 2 days after the shutdown happened. So Billy Elliot got postponed, and Steve, luckily for him, I guess, hadn't got on a plane yet. Yeah. So I have love and memories for you all. I just want to let you know that in my time, I have had my own moments of dance glory. And I just wanted to bring you a picture right now just to prove.
Grab your drinks. Grab your drinks.
Here is it's just a photograph. I didn't bother to bring the video because, to be honest, I didn't want to embarrass you all.
Okay, let's see.
Okay, let's see it.
Oh. Yikes.
Yes.
Okay.
I love it.
This
That's what you're wearing below the waist now, isn't it?
Yeah, that photo was actually taken in 2007. I was playing the clock in Beauty and the Beast, and I could not get a dance moment in that show to save my life. I begged and begged, but I was told by oh my god, Jimmy White, the choreographer, that I was just too big. Not me, the costume, and so I had to stand at the back. I think it was because I can't dance, but I can't be sure. And so one day I borrowed every bit of dance gear I could find. And when he arrived in the rehearsal hall at 9:45, I was there in the middle of the floor by myself. Everybody else was at the sides, and I was limbering up, and I was like, I'm ready, coach. Put me in. And he ignored me all day.
But you, Jeremy, you can dance.
Yeah.
Remember
I have video evidence and photograph evidence, which maybe we'll get to in a bit, of being in a show directed and choreographed by Ray Hogg, the producers, where he found the best place to. Well, I'll show a little bit of it now. The best place to put someone. If I can find it, where is it? Here it is. I think this is the right video. Hold on. Not the right video. 1 second.
That was beautiful, Josh Doig.
Oh,
yeah, I know.
Pumpkin.
I can't identify. It must be this one. It must be this. I'm not playing it again. No, you will notice that Ray discovered that if he stuck me on a ladder or on any nearby piece of furniture, nobody would get injured.
I'm taking notes.
Up
Right?
and back. Up and back.
Listen, it's true. You're on a piece of furniture in almost every single one of those pictures. But there was the Goontag Hopklop, which was a big old dance inspired by Sweet Charity. Yes, Ma. There was rooftop skylight dancing, and we choreographed it, and they were cursing my name the whole time, and I was like, "Listen, I'm not going to simplify this until you get it right." And then they got it right, and I didn't need to simplify it, and it was stunning. And it was a showstopper every night, like an actual showstopper with that applause. A showstopper. It was amazing.
I gotta say though, it's the only time in my career where I actually wanted to physically assault the director or choreographer, because he would just walk away. Would be like, "Look, it's too freaking difficult. I can't do it. I've got too much to learn." And
I was like, "You can do this."
yeah,
it was super complicated. Yeah, lot of and lightning, like this. There's like smacking each other in the face, and like it was.
My gosh!
I have to find a video of that because it was real. I have rehearsal footage of me and the two assistants working it out. It was that was the best time. Working with those two, Peter Huck and Treasure Waddell. Yeah, it was incredible. We just had so much fun, particularly on the Hopklop, because we were smacking each other in the face and privates.
Well, it's not a fun show at all.
No, it's terrible, right?
The producer's not a fun show. Steve, what is so you've been working for a while now.
Yeah, they keep hiring me. It's a weird thing.
At Stratford, right?
Yeah, I don't know why.
Tell us about what you've been doing there, and then about the fact that you're gonna at some point, when you're allowed, come to Halifax and do Billy Elliot.
This was my 15th season here at Stratford.
Wow.
I performed on the stage for many years, and in the last six years, I've started to transition into the creative side, where I've been Donna Fiore's associate choreographer, and the last 3 years assistant director. I'm just trying to figure out what I'm going to be when I grow up. But no, it's been a great place to kind of grow, and as we know, they do a lot of fantastic theater here, and they've allowed me the last few years to workshop some of my own pieces that I've wanted to put forth. Myself and Robin Calvert right now are working on a completely danced version of Romeo and Juliet. That's kind of like a contemporary hip hop.
Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing.
Yes. I love living here. That's the main thing. I really love living here. Not right now. It's pretty quiet. but
and fun fact. Oh, go ahead, Steve. Sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
I say fun fact, Ray, Steve, and I were all in the 2007 season in Stratford together. We did Oklahoma and My One and Only together.
Oh! Here's a great story about that. My One and Only. So I don't think any of us were probably the most skilled tappers. Am I okay?
Not me.
Well, of the three of us, we had some fierce tappers in our company, but the three of us were not the strongest.
Yes. So day one was the boys, and it was Michael Lichtenfeld, and we learned an entire number, a 7.5 minute long tap number in one day. And then the second day was the finale, Kicking the Clouds Away, which had all the guys, all the girls, and it was a 10-minute long number. And he taught us the entire thing in one day as well. There were tears that day.
So many tears.
Because
and blood. I actually poured blood out of my tap shoe on the second day.
No, I remember coming up. I remember coming up to Steph at the end of that day, and she was crying, taking off her tap shoes, and it was one of those moments where you're like, "Are you okay?" And it's just like, "Hey, that's not gonna cut." But she wasn't alone. We were all doing the same.
Oh my gosh! And then we all worked on it, of course, and we all came back the second day of rehearsal, and we all had it. But it just, it was just like. That, I mean, everybody has their way of dealing with stress, mine, I'm a crier. So it's like, that's how it happens. But, it was an amazing show. And I think that's My One and Only is one of the shows that I could have done for the rest of my life. I had so much fun with it. Yeah, it was an amazing season.
So you guys just touched on something there, which I just want to, ask about, which is as choreographers, I guess now, rather than members of the onstage company, the performers and the gathering of people that are going to jive with your plans and your concepts and your ideas and your style of working. Do you find yourself drawn to a certain kind of performer, or does it vary? Do you get a good, healthy mix of different kinds of people? How does it work? Stephanie, let's start with you. Do you have like I mean, I know we've jokingly and not jokingly called a particular group of people that worked on Cinderella with us the Fab Five, because you worked their butts off, and we all worked their butts off playing multiple roles, as ensemble people do all the time with so many costume changes. So what is it about those people? How do you find them? What do you want?
I think it depends on the show. You know, it's show specific what you need. I mean, for me, I want actors first that are great dancers. Oh, there's our pirate crew from Peter Pan. But you know, people, especially on like shows that we did, Peter Pan and Cinderella, we need people who are going to bring more than just a studio dancer. Like, you know, there's that great Bob Fosse quote about, you know, if a dancer also isn't an actor, it's just so much animated wallpaper. And, you know, like music theater, especially, these are characters. So we need people who are very skilled in lots of different ways. But again, it's show specific. You know, we're going to cast very different types of dancers in the producers versus like Cinderella or something, you know.
Yeah. And Ray, I mean, do you have like a approach?
What I want is actually people who like to laugh a lot and are funny and will try anything and will talk back to me. Like that's the, like, you know, right, like exactly. I don't want I need people who are people, real people. I also I'm obsessed with, like, I representation is so majorly in the forefront of my mind. So I also want people who look like my Auntie Jo and my cousin Frida.
Yeah,
those people don't exist in my life, but who look like, you know, people walking down the street. Because I think, again, in musicals, the universes that we're populating are the same universe that we kind of live in. So the kind of person needs to be funny and a bit rebellious. There's some funny rebels. They need to be. But and then I will also say, like, I love good ballet technique. So if they have those two things, if you're funny and you have some ballet at some point in your life, and you're rebellious also, then I'm sure to love you, right? Like you're a shoo-in to be loved by me.
I know that Alison Palmer is watching right now, and I could not resist but put this photo up of Alison killing the button in that song in Mamma Mia that you choreographed. That show, as I remember, Ray, also had a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Listen,
that was not your choreography, by the way.
So I like Veronique, I'm trained in Graham, and in the Martha Graham technique, you use the and counts. Every movement begins on the and then one. So whether it's a musical or contemporary work, whatever it is, I'm here for the one and-a. I want all of it in between counts. So yeah, I definitely like to have lots of feet and ends, and I use those counts.
That is very similar to hip hop too. Like, especially I do a lot of tutting, so it's all like 1E and 2E, and it's all those and counts. So like that's my jam.
Yeah, right.
Let's take a little peek at some of that. I should point out that was, yes, well done. I should point out to all of us that that was a rehearsal video taken during spacing rehearsal and was not the sound of the show. So that we found that video.
Yeah.
It showed what you're getting those people to do.
Right.
I was always amazed at, and I loved sitting back and watching you work.
And it's hilarious, Jeremy, that I mentioned Graham, because I think Vale probably could see also that there's like a ton of modern, I wouldn't even call it contemporary, but I'd say like modern dance, like Graham technique in there too. The fan kicks and the kick to the floor. It's like
and
a
PK or
yeah, totally right. Like with that long, lean body position. Like I am very much. I'm trained at Ryerson University, and my training is with me always. Like it comes with me wherever I go. I am who I am.
So when you say long, lean body position,
yeah. Just a bit more spiral and you're good to go.
The question is, why are you wearing a Che Guevara shirt?
Because I imagined.
There's a unitard there, Steph, and you're commenting on the Che Guevara shirt?
just be thankful I'm wearing the complete blue lycra skin type bodysuit. Otherwise, there'd be other things. Anyway, what I have to take a pause here just to thank Support for Culture, who support Neptune Theatre in so many ways, and they're supporting this endeavor. So thank you to Support for Culture for all that you do for the arts community and the theater. Yeah, jazz hands for them. Wow. My jazz hands are terrible. I never do that. So we're nearly out of time. Strangely, Ray, you've only been here 2 minutes. I'm not going to let you forget that. But what are you thinking? I mean, right now we're seeing theaters across the country postpone, cancel seasons. Steve, obviously, our thoughts and sympathies are with everyone that has just lost work at Stratford, but they're not the only ones. So what's coming up? What are people thinking now out there? I mean, I'm kind of in my little bubble of being on the theater side. Are people just holding their breath and waiting?
Well, I think we're hopeful. We're trying to be hopeful. That's all we have. But I think the biggest fear right now is audiences. Are we going to get audiences back to the theater? You know, specifically here in Stratford, you know, we're highly dependent on an American market, which specifically from New York and Michigan. And if we don't have borders, we don't have an audience. And our audiences tend to be a little bit older. So there is that fear in terms of the most vulnerable. And are we going to get that audience back? Yeah.
Yeah. Is that what you're sort of understanding as well, Stephanie?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I've had 5 contracts disappear. Some will be. Yeah, it's been a crazy few weeks, but some postponed, some completely canceled. But I think, you know, I think exactly what Steve's saying is, you know, one show that's postponed for a year, but it's like, let's hope we're ready to go back to the theater by then. Like, you know, if without a vaccine, you know, Barrington Stage, actually, there was an article in the New York Times today talking about how they're rejigging their entire summer season and just doing solo shows or like plays with 2 people, but no kissing, no sword play. So I don't know if we're going to have to make an adjustment for a bit till people feel confident to come back.
Yeah, I mean, my thoughts are regarding the audience more than I'm concerned about the actors and, you know, getting close to each other and, you know, but.
And no intermissions.
No intermissions.
Shows without intermissions.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because getting 450 people or 200 people into a theater, even if they were sitting socially distant, of course, they've still got to come through the front of house area to the bar, to the washroom. So yeah, I can see that it's going to be a little while. Ray, what's been the effect for you so far?
Well, yeah, same. It's been you know, a lot of cancellations or postponements is the hope, and so my very carefully constructed year, because I have children that are young and that need me around, and so we balance how much time I'm away from the house and how much time I'm here. If everything that has been postponed has its new life, they will all be within the same 3-month period. So I don't know how are we going to take the kids out of school, and are they going to travel? I don't know what's going to happen in that regard. So personally, that's left me in this sort of bit of turmoil. But I do want to say that I'm very hopeful, and I'm observing particularly the dance community thrive in what feels like in a kind of invisible way. I love that the NAC has, is doing these online concerts. I love that there's this sort of drive for projects. I feel like dance is maybe a little bit left out. It's kind of hard to get together a group and do a dance concert from your living room, or a solo dance concert. It doesn't have quite the same impact as a solo music concert. But there's this incredible class community where, there are dance classes being offered from across the globe. I've been doing the Dutch National Ballet class, the National Ballet class. I'm going to be teaching some theater jazz classes. Like, I'm watching my peers and colleagues give of their art to keep dancers in shape and keep both mentally and physically has been really inspiring. One other thing I'm noticing really quickly is a shift towards creating actual online content. Anne Hodges is the director under the sort of guidance, I guess, of Michael Rubinoff at Sheridan. They did this project In Real Life, which Musical Stage Company co-commissioned, and then Sheridan was going to do a production. They did this entire Zoom rehearsal process and then created a purpose-made digital presentation. And if you haven't seen it, In Real Life, look it up, directed by Anne Hodges, featuring the graduating class of Sheridan College, produced by It's incredible.
It's fantastic. It's so great.
And what I love about it is that they didn't just take a performance, throw on a webcam and throw on a mic and call it a performance. They really created the content for the medium that we're forced to inhabit. And I'm hopeful that will be a lesson for us all, and that we will all begin to shift our creative impulses to include actual media and not to just try to slap on a camera and call it digital. Does that make sense? Like, it makes sense. I think that might be how we kind of feel okay about creation or able to create, because we don't know how long, there's only right now, we have no idea how long this is really going to go for, or if there's a second wave. And so I think that we do need to continue to generate. And my hope is that we will all generate in ways that are, it's thrilling. When you all go see this In Real Life thing, you will be like, wow, this is thrilling. And I think the thrill is because it was purpose made for this, for the Zoom platform, not even just any, but like literally made for Zoom.
No, it's brilliant. Yeah, Kevin Wong and Nick Green are the authors of the piece. It's amazing.
The one thing
what are you doing, Veronique, to get through this? How is it? So dance is really, you're taking a lot of classes, you saying?
Yeah, I'm taking a lot of classes. I find as an artist myself, because I'm creating another solo show for myself, I'm finding that really hard to focus on right now. And I'm trying to not give myself a hard time. It's hard because we're all really busy people. I'm finding that really hard, and I'm hoping it'll shift. I think my next, because I had a bunch of gigs canceled as well, but my next challenge will be at the Fountain School of Performing Arts. We could be teaching online exclusively, and I have a new course that I have to teach, composition. And I mean, I'm excited, like when Ray talks about, this new way of being, and I'm excited about that challenge. Teaching a dance class to university students online will be interesting, but I'm up for the challenge because we don't have a choice. And, we are very resilient as dancers, I think, and we're creative, and I have faith that we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Right?
You will. I think we will. It is just the uncertainty of the timeline that is messing with everybody's heads. I'm going to play something now. It lasts a couple of minutes. We'll say our goodbyes beforehand, but I'd ask the US to stick around until the end of it, because I just want to say a final goodbye. The International Theatre Institute, I'm reading this so I don't get it wrong, send out a message for Dance Day 2020, written by Gregory Uyani Makoma. And today at lunchtime, I had the idea, this is one of those things that I do where I don't think things through, and I instigated it before I thought it through. And the idea was, wouldn't it be cool to get a bunch of dancers from across the country to read this letter that Gregory has written to honor Dance Day, and we'd put it together, and it'd be great, and we'll do it. And then I realized that was only 4 hours ago. Well, I managed to find about 16 dancers across the country who are willing to drop everything, reach for their phones, and record this thing. We're going to air it now. It lasts a couple of minutes, but enjoy it. And certainly you people here with me in the studio, see how many of these people you recognize. I'll play it now, and I'll see you again in a couple of minutes.
Okay.
It was during an interview I had recently that I had to think about dance. What does it mean to me?
In my response, I had to look at my journey, and I realized it was all about purpose.
And each day presents a new challenge that needs to be confronted.
And it is through dance that I try to make sense of the world.
We are leaving through unimaginable tragedies in a time that I can best describe as the post-human era.
More than ever, we need to dance with purpose.
To remind the world that humanity exists.
Purpose and empathy need to prevail over years and years of undeniable virtual landscape of dissolution.
That has given rise to a catharsis of universal grief conquering the sadness.
The hard reality that continues to permeate the living, confronted by rejection, death, and poverty.
Our dance must more than ever give a strong signal to the world leaders
and those entrusted with safeguarding and improving human condition that we are an army of furious thinkers.
And our purpose is one that changes the world, one step at a time.
Dance is freedom.
Dance is freedom.
Dance is
freedom. And through our found freedom, we must free others from the entrapments they face in different corners of the world.
Dance is not political, but becomes political because it carries in its fiber a human connection.
And therefore responds to circumstances in its attempt to restore human dignity.
As we dance with our bodies, tumbling in space, tangling together,
we become a force of movement, weaving hearts,
touching souls, and providing healing that is so desperately needed.
And purpose becomes a single hydra-headed
invincible.
Invincible.
Invincible. Invincible.
Invincible. An indivisible dance.
All we need now is to dance some more.
That was amazing!
You totally got me.
It got me more than I thought it would as well, I must admit.
As soon as Nadia Conan appeared, I was like, oh, my people, and then my children, my baby boot camp children, and then squish.
So I then
I saw Gifford and I was back to normal.
Yeah, Gifford was in there. Look, we put that together very quickly, and as I was watching it almost for the first time entirely through with you, I realized that the sound mixing needs to be fixed, but we'll do that after the fact.
Can you please post that so we can all share it later?
Yeah,
Neptune is definitely going to post that. And I think it was when I read that letter this morning. Knowing that I was going to be talking with all of you, I was like, oh, how can I get that letter represented on the show? And then I thought, oh, I'll ask all the people that you know and work and love and that know you and that do this thing that you do. So there we go. All that to say that as the artistic director of Neptune Theatre, we value you and the work that you do and the way that you enhance our lives with your artistic brilliance, and we thank you for it. And I cannot wait to see you work again, and I cannot wait to have you back in our building with us all again. Thank you for being here this evening. Thank you for helping us celebrate dance today, and I hope you have a safe few weeks, few months over the summer, and I'll speak to you soon. Thanks for being here.
Reach out and
Can I share a quote before we go?
Of course.
Yeah.
So this is a quote by John Steinbeck, and someone showed me this when theaters first started getting shut down. It says the theater is the only institution in the world which has been dying for 4,000 years and has never succumbed. It required tough and devoted people to keep it alive.
Yay.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah. And maybe a little, unhinged as well.
Yeah.
All right, I got to let us go because these shows started off as 10 minutes and they've now become 45-minute magnum opus. So
lovely to see you all.
Good to see you. Stay right there. Stay right there. I'm just going to end the broadcast. Thanks for watching, everyone. Tomorrow night, we have another group of amazing. Oh my goodness, is it Fab Five night? Yes, tomorrow night. We welcome a group of the people. Oh, look, I've got a logo right over Sarah.
Wow.
Oh, that's awkward. She's going to not thank me for that. Hold on. Let me just lose that logo. There we go.
There you go.
There we go. We have members of the Fab Five here to talk about what it's like being in the ensemble and understudying in a show and the work that's involved in that. I can't wait to see them. And then on Friday, we have members of the company of the Rocky Horror Show that is currently scheduled to be at Neptune soon. And we'll be talking to them and see how they're doing and talk about the Rocky Horror Show in general. So there we go. Thank you so much for being here. See you next time. I'm ending the broadcast now. And